It's February 17th, 2020. I'm Yaela V, and these are the Cryptosphere's top stories for today. A day before its fateful court day in New York, Telegram Open Network clashes with the SEC over the disclosure of its investors' information. Bitcoin enthusiast Max Keiser quadruples his price target prediction to $400,000. And finally, our race to a central bank digital coin series continues with an eye on the leader of the free world. It is the court case the Sphere has been waiting for. The showdown between the Telegram Open Network, which reportedly raised $1.7 billion from its investors, and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. With 24 hours to go, all eyes will be on the New York Southern District Court as it hears the arguments from both the SEC and Telegram, as well as the parties' cross motion for summary judgments. Given the novel issues raised by this case, the ruling will likely reverberate throughout the crypto industry and far beyond. I'm joined in studio by BLOCKTV senior correspondent Asha Westrup Evans, and from New York by reporter Desiree Campbell in upstate New York. First of all, to you, Desiree. Just days before the court case, another regulator is set to become part of the proceedings, correct?
That's correct. The CFTC, the Commodities, Futures and Trades Commission, they have been asked by the SEC and the New York Southern District Court to weigh in on the case. So the central question will be whether or not the Gram tokens that were issued are going to be classified as securities or commodities. Telegram has argued that the SEC hasn't given enough clarity on regulations around security offerings and that they have complied with SEC law. So different defendants are going to be weighing in. That's from Telegram, the CEO, Patel Durov, and also there are going to be two other employees, as well as there has been some information given from the Blockchain Association defending as a third party, a neutral third party observer, what Telegram has done. So that's what's going to be happening with the case today.
With the case as it starts in approximately, I think, 24 hours. Desiree, you're staying with us. Asha Westrup Evans, senior correspondent for BLOCKTV. The SEC rejected Telegram's request a short while ago to conceal investors' information. Right. Where does that stand? And needless to say, that puts Telegram in quite a precarious position.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Telegram has been pushing for a long time to keep many of the key details of their investor information private, saying that it is not necessary to the case and does not need to go into that public court setting. The SEC, however, has pushed back hard, saying this information is essential as it relates to the character and nature of who these investors are, what their goals are for the network, whether they are simply investors or looking to get some sort of element of control, some sort of security-like element of control, which is the key test here, the Howey test that's being put to test here under the court's conditions. The SEC has pushed back hard, saying a lot more needs to be opened up. We're yet to hear the final ruling from the judge, likely to hear that throughout the case itself. But fascinating to see that court battle play out. Clearly some intense feelings on either side ahead of this important date tomorrow.
Ahead of this important date. And Desiree, with us still from New York, you'll be covering the case tomorrow. What are we expected to hear from the first day of proceedings? And we're theorizing now.
I do think we're going to be hearing the defendant, that is Telegram, and the CEO, him explaining why he thinks that what Telegram has done is in fact in compliance with previous SEC regulations, and a lot of clarification about security tokens versus currency, because Telegram has been arguing that they were issuing currency specifically. So we're going to get a lot of clarification for the whole crypto space about what it means when a project or an organization or a company wants to use blockchain and ICO-like services in order to raise money for the projects that they're raising funds for.
That they're raising funds for, $1 million question. Thank you, Desiree Campbell. Asha Westrup Evans still with us here. It is a monumental case for the sphere, isn't it? The ruling in it can affect what?
The ruling in it can affect the entire way the U.S. approaches, future releases of tokens or cryptocurrencies, particularly as it relates to these larger companies' releases, larger companies with affiliations. How this will play out, this can really set the tone for a lot of what the world is hearing about this, and that's important to note that people are responding from inside the sphere, taking the seriousness of this case as it is. In fact, we've just recently found out that a group of international TON contributors, a group of 20 different organizations coming out representing developers, engineers, some investors, whatnot, have come out creating a fund to help defend Telegram in this case and defend the TON network there as it stands, because they understand the seriousness and the ramifications of this case, not just for the $1.7 billion tied to this particular project,
right,
obviously a substantial sum, but also for the precedent that it sets in the United States and even potentially beyond.
And potentially beyond, entirely so. Ashwa Evans, thank you for this input. Now, crypto advocate Max Keiser is making headlines again. In a recent conversation with conspiracy theorist Alex Jones in his infamous InfoWars online broadcast, Keiser went mega bull on his Bitcoin price prediction target. Let's have a listen.
I am officially raising my target for Bitcoin, and I first made this prediction when it was $1. I said this could go to $100,000. I'm raising my official target for the first time in 8 years. I'm raising it to $400,000. That's my new official target. So you've got a 40x return. $10,000 becomes $400,000. And so this is yet your new chance to make the Bitcoin phenomenon work for you, Alex Jones.
And I told you over 10 years ago I wasn't going to get into it until I thought the market stabilized. I know it's a real technology. I know it's needed. I know that our government, George Washington, beat the British because of encryption. Encryption was once seen as a munition. Only the NSA for a while had it. It's good to have it in the people's hands. But there's also been a wild, wild west and a lot of crap coin out there as well. But still, you believe Bitcoin, the original, is the gold standard.
Asha Westrup Evans still with me in studio. On a day like this, a prediction of $400,000 as a target price. It's a bit bizarre because at this time that we're taping this, the markets aren't doing so well.
Yeah, the machinations of the crypto markets, as it were, on any given day. What the long-term outlook is, I'm not here to say, but certainly in the short term, in the last 24 hours, Bitcoin, from its highs of around 10.5 just a week or so ago, we're now down to around 9,500, down 3.5% on the day. But it's those altcoin markets that have seen a huge dive, Yael, after such a record run throughout the early part of February and January as well. Now they're seeing some pretty steep declines, as is usual when the market goes up. Some of the alts overtake, but when the market goes down, man, do they crash hard. Got Ethereum, the wonder child of the start of 2020, down 7.5% on the day. XRP down 8.5%, and Bitcoin Cash and BSV as well down around 13 to 14% or so on the day. Some big declines. Many in the markets will be hoping this is but a short dip on a long rally, but certainly some of that energy is taken off the market.
It may not be altcoin season. It's a little bit more of like a fall.
Exactly.
Okay. Asha Evans, thank you for this input. For 6 years now, if you're anybody who's anyone in the sphere, you want to be invited to the Satoshi Roundtable annual gathering fostered by none other than crypto strongman Bruce Fenton. This year, even Captain Kirk was beamed into it. BLOCKTV's Zaki Hennessy has the lowdown on the coveted event.
The 6th annual Satoshi Roundtable has come to a close. Known for its role as an event where industry movers and shakers get together to discuss the future of cryptocurrency and the industry as a whole, this year's roundtable played host to several key celebrities and industry experts like William Shatner, Jameson Lopp, Adam Back, and Justin Sun, who tried his best to get a selfie with everyone he could. Roundtable founder and organizer Bruce Fenton spoke about Sun's photo with Back.
I thought it was great that there was the selfie between Adam Back and Justin Sun. I was proud of that because, Justin is kind of controversial. That's not the sort of picture that you would expect to see those two together, but that sort of represents the roundtable, having people that you wouldn't normally have that bring together and can have a laugh.
The event, started in 2015, is characterized by an off-the-record approach to discussion.
We try and value privacy for the discussions and really encourage decentralization and people doing their own thing and discussing what they want to discuss. So it sort of tries to reflect the values of the industry.
Overall, the Satoshi Roundtable stands as a testament to the industry's heads and the amount of thought they're putting toward the future. With regulators around the world beginning to discuss the merits of CBDCs and other crypto acquirees, the Roundtable may yet prove to be a crucial player in the future of crypto. Zaki Hennessy for BLOCKTV.
As China deals with the coronavirus and its implications, the race to a central bank digital coin is not waiting, and it is indeed time for another installment of our series, The Race for CBDCs. Now, judging from the rhetoric coming out of the United States administration as of late, it is hard to figure out if a central bank digital coin is in its future. But one thing is clear. They're definitely addressing the issue. BLOCKTV's Yona Hochhauser has the story.
While China, the EU, and seemingly everyone else is sprinting towards a CBDC, it seems the United States doesn't even consider itself in the race.
A central bank digital issued currency, that is something that Chair Powell and I do not think the U.S. needs to consider now, but could consider again down the road.
If you listen to how the United States government speaks about and views cryptocurrencies, it's easy to see why they are tepid when it comes to digitizing their own dollar.
They help terrorists and criminals move money around the world. They help tax evaders. They help startup companies commit fraud, take the money.
The United States dollar is the currency in which global trades occur. According to the International Monetary Fund, the US dollar makes up 61% of all known central bank foreign exchange reserves. $580 billion in US bills are used outside the country. That's 65% of all dollars. The United States is well aware of this fact and uses access to the dollar to swing its political weight around on the world stage through the use of sanctions.
So our ability to have the dollar be the chief means of international finance is what has underpinned our ability to impose sanctions.
Once you realize how much the current system empowers the United States, combined with their view that cryptocurrencies are used by criminals, money launderers, sanction evaders, and terrorists, it's easy to see why the United States is in no rush to a CBDC. It is a serious gamble because the US might wake up one day to a world running on CBDCs like China's yuan. And at that point, it might just be too late. Yona Hochhauser, BLOCKTV.
Yona Hochhauser joins us in studio right now. And Yona, maybe the United States administration is not supposedly thinking about it, but some Americans are.
Exactly. It might not be in the public sector, but in the former public sector, now private sector, former CFTC head Christopher Giancarlo, he started the Digital Dollar Foundation. And him teaming up with former regulators, lawyers, advocates, and the such, they're trying to lay the groundwork, kind of a framework for how a U.S. dollar digital coin will look, CBDC, if you would. Now, like I said, the current administration might not be into it, but the administration might not last that much longer, whether it be 2020 or 2024. There definitely will be change-ups. Steve Mnuchin will not be there. Donald Trump will not be there as time goes on. So he's trying to lay the groundwork. He's teamed up with Accenture. As a tech partner, Accenture has already worked with other governments around the world on their own CBDCs. So basically what he's trying to do is saying, when you guys do decide they do want a CBDC, we'll be here ready and willing.
Okay, time will tell who will take that first step in the United States. Yona Hochhauser, thank you for this report. IOTA developers announced several hours ago that the updated desktop Trinity wallet to remove major vulnerability discovered on February 12th. Transactions on IOTA blockchain, however, have not been resumed as of yet. The IOTA Foundation, the nonprofit behind IOTA Distributed Network, recommended users close their Trinity wallets on Thursday after multiple reports of fund theft amounting to an estimated $1.6 million were noticed. The foundation said it is working with law enforcement and cybersecurity experts to investigate a coordinated attack that resulted in those stolen funds. And it's time for Troll of the Day. Today, Zaki Hennessy takes a look at Bitcoin Aussie pioneer Jason Williams, the man behind the Bitcoin Association of Australia, no relations to Usher. But Zaki has some advice for us all.
That's right. So Jason Williams, he sent out this beautiful tweet which says, if you don't own a business or a piece of a business, you give yourself no chance of financial freedom. First of all, of course, why didn't I think of owning a business before? But this to me reeks of some kind of financial or socioeconomic privilege. I'm here to tell you, don't worry, even if you don't own a business or a piece of a business, you can still have financial freedom. My go-to method is to just not pay rent. The added bonus here is that you don't even have the opportunity to feel tied down to one place, because this method always guarantees that you make your way back onto the street where you're free to live wherever you like. for a little bit until they kick you out again.
Right. Actually, I think that's the best terminology. That's the best description of freedom one can actually have. Thank you, Zachy Hennessy. That was Around the Block for today. Thank you for watching. For more blockchain, tech, and cryptocurrency news, visit us at blocktv.com.
For more news and updates, follow us on Twitter.